we're doing 8B today, and we'll talk about 8C. So we're talking about permutations and then introducing you to factorial notation. So I'm going to do both straight away, and then you can make your way through them. So we have a permutation. That means it's a possible arrangement of a group of symbols, and it depends on order. Okay, so later on we're going to do combinations. Order doesn't matter with combinations, but with permutations the order is very important. So we have these three symbols, P, Q, and R, and we're asked, given P, Q, and R, how many permutations are there if symbols are taken by A, one at a time, okay? So if you're just going to grab one of these, okay, you could grab the P, all right, you could grab the Q, or you could grab the R. So there are three possible outcomes, okay? If we are taking them two at a time, all right, we could get the P and then the Q. I'm going to just group it. We could get PQ, or we could get Q then P. Okay, so remember I said that it does depend on the order which one comes first, all right? So they are separate permutations. We could get P then R, or R then P. And we could get Q then R, or R and then Q. And so those are all of the outcomes. There are 6 of them. And then if we're taking them 3 at a time, we could get P, Q, R. We could get P, R, Q. All right. We could get R, P, Q, or R, Q, P. And we could get P, R, Q, R, P, or Q, P, R. They are all the outcomes. So I'm being very methodical in the way I generate that. I'm going, let's say we've got P at the front, then we could have Q and R, all right? Or we could keep having P at the front and have R then Q, okay? And that's all the instances where P is at the front. And then I've gone, okay, what about if R is the first, in the first cell? Well, we could have R first, and then we're going to have PQ, or R first and then QP. They're the only 2 possible ways that can go. And so we can see we've got 6. So, let's show you how we can work these out using a mathematical technique, all right? So let's consider first, first this one, all right? Basically, we have 2 possibilities, aren't we? We can have something in the first cell and something in the second cell. Now, how many options are there of going in the first cell? There's 3. And if we use one of them in the first cell, how many options remain? 2. So there are 2 possible locations here. So what that means is the total amount of permutations is equal to the number of ways it can be in the first cell times by the number of ways it can be in the second cell. So we have 6. And you can see that same holds here. Here we have 3, I'm going to keep calling them cells. We can have P, Q, and then R. How many possible, if we're taking the first one, how many could go in the first cell? Well, there's 3 lots. How many could go in the second cell? Well, there's 2 that remain, Q or R. And if you've used both of them already, then only 1 remains. And 3 times 2 times 1 is 6. Okay? So this algorithm is going to be particularly useful for the next question. So in AFL, we've got 8 teams that are playing in finals. How many possible permutations are there for the top 2 spots? So you could write a list and list all of them, but it's going to be a lot. You've got 8 teams, you know, that finish first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, 8. How many ways can you arrange the top 2? All right. Well, if we think of the top spot, okay, the first spot, how many teams could occupy that position? 8 of them. All right. And then if we've taken away 1 team from the top 8 positions, there's 7 that remain, and so there's 7 that can fill the second location. And so if you don't know your times tables, you can pull your calculator out. But 8 times 7 is 56. There are 56 possible permutations for the top 2 teams of a AFL finals. Okay, and then we're introducing you to, so that's 8b. If there's any questions about that? Excellent. So then we're on to 8c, which is factorial notation. And so we have for you guys 3 exclamation mark, or as I like to say, 3. Okay, and that just means 1 times 2 times 3. Okay, if you have 4 factorial, it means 1 times 2 times 3 times 4. And so there's going to be some questions around that that you can have a go at there. Splendid. So that's 8b and 8c. Let's spend